Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 213 of the Sticks and the Six podcast. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Forbes, here with my co host, Peter Barricchini. And Peter, it's been a big week for Toronto sports. Of course, the Leafs still entering their 25-26 identity season. But then you got it. You pointed the hat. The
Had to.
Jays, the Jays are headed back to the World Series for the first time in 32 years. I was five, 6-ish when they last won. So yeah, no, I was five when they last won. So pretty crazy the way that it all got done. They came back 2 games at home, 2 big wins. Of course, it was a team effort, role player after role player playing what they could. The 7 and 9 hitters getting it done for the for the Jays late in that series, and of course a couple of interesting calls. It wouldn't be a Jays series without a few interesting calls. But anyways, how you feeling after a big Jays game 7 win in Toronto? A game 7 win in Toronto. We don't hear that often.
Yeah, that's a feeling that we need to start getting used to because it hasn't happened. I know my mic cut out there for a second. I don't know what happened, but let's get this audio issue out of the way. But yeah, game 7 win for Toronto, and there's a whole lot of nervousness with Vladdy wearing the Austin Matthews jersey and everything like that. I wasn't buying into it. Just go out there, play. Didn't know what to expect because they were swinging at everything, missing everything, making good contact, but it's just like nothing was going their way until that Springer home run. And this is like you could feel it in the city everywhere you go, whether it's downtown, further up north, wherever. Again, the Jays are Canada's team right now. And this is kind of the same thing of what happened with the Raptors in 2019, the lone Canadian team in the finals. They were underdogs. The Jays are basically underdogs right now because they are going up against a team that doesn't make baseball fun in the LA Dodgers. And I will say that flat out every single time. The way they cheat the system with the cap circumvention or deferred payments, whatever you want to call it. But let's be happy about this. You know, like you said, 32 years. I was barely 2 years old when they last made the World Series. So you were five. I know we're like there's a little bit of a mini age gap between us, but I was barely two, and at that point, I think I was asleep because it was my bedtime. And as you know, with a infant, toddler, when it's that late, it's the bedtime, and obviously I was not around to witness that. But now right here and now, I am going to savor every single minute of this because we shouldn't even be in this situation right now. Like coming into the season, we were all expecting fourth, fifth place. It started off rough, the injuries, the inconsistent play, and then for some reason, before or just around Canada Day, they just popped right off. And for 2-3 months, this team has been gaining momentum every step of the way. They haven't looked back. And even when things look dicey, they don't give up. And I think that's one thing that's a selling point or difference between the two teams, the Leafs and the Blue Jays. They don't give up. Like you said, the role players are stepping up. Maple Leafs, their role players and star players really haven't stepped up in big moments. So again, this is kind of big right now in Toronto with the World Series. I mean, we already won an NBA championship. Imagine what will happen if this team does push the Dodgers and win the World Series. I think you're looking at the same type of magnitude of a parade that the Raptors had, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you talk about the role players, you talk about the Alejandro Kirks in the ALDS, you talk about the Vladdies, all playoffs long.
How about
Just
Ernie
signed a 15.
Clement too, and the
I was going to
Oakland or
say
whatever the Athletics are called right now for just letting him walk for no reason?
Ernie Clement signs a minor league deal and finds his way to being maybe one of the most consistent hitters in Major League
Yeah.
Baseball postseason history.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Lucas, who was on the verge of retiring from Major League Baseball, and
Yeah.
he's the number 2 hitter, coming up with some key hits. And then of course George Springer taking the 2-seamer off the kneecap. We didn't know how he was going to be. Comes back, hits arguably one of the top 5 home runs in Blue Jays history. And there's a lot of arguments going on online right now about how to order those home runs, but definitely one of the biggest home runs in Blue
Yeah.
Jays history. And
I was
you
about
got to
to say,
love.
it was very poetic and very fitting
Mm-hmm.
for Springer to hit that home run after he was booed, after he gets plunked on the knee by Seattle fans, and then he sends a team home. I mean, you heard that one clip where I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Cal Raleigh, maybe it was Julio Rodriguez, but that loud scream in the background, man, tough, but at the same time, it's poetic the way that George Springer just ended their career or ended their season, basically, right?
It's amazing though, after the kneecap hit, like how many balls were up and in on Springer as well, right? And
After the fact too.
Yeah, I've got a colleague that'll tell you that we were sitting there and kind of watching the game while we were trying to get some work done, and I said to him when I saw 2 on the sacrifice bunt, Springer coming up, I said, "This is the time when Springer needs to hit a home run."
We need it, yeah.
And like seconds later, this is
Gone.
It's crazy though. We're seeing you've got basically all of American baseball fans commenting on the Jays being cheaters and the double play call that was that happened in the first inning to get them out of the inning. And
that was a double play. Like, let's be realistic. That was interference.
Well, I said to one guy who's not a baseball guy, I said, "How many times do you jump into a throw? Right? If you see a ball coming towards you, you're going down. You're not jumping up."
Yep.
So, I mean, call it for what it is. The Jays are headed to the World Series. Shohei Ohtani is finally coming to Toronto, just not wearing the same blue and white that was expected of him, and this is going to be something else. I mean, home field advantage is one thing. To be in the World Series is one thing. To have it all combine and all come in the way that they are, and to know that Bo Bichette has the opportunity to come back and be a part of this World Series lineup, this is going to be wild. It's going to be wild for all sports fans. It's over in a week and a half. Like, this is it.
This week and a half, this is going to be big. And like you mentioned about Bo coming back too, they've got to this point without him. So imagine with him coming in, that's going to be a big storyline. I don't know if he's going to.
You're talking about the best average hitter
Yeah.
in baseball the last 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm. And guess who has the better average, or I think team average overall between the two? I think the Jays have the advantage over the Dodgers right now. And so.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to add one more point in that the storyline of Vlad and Ohtani right now. Vlad has had, I know Ohtani had that 3-game home run, or that 3-homer game, sorry. Vlad has been consistent every single game. Ohtani really hasn't. So I want to know if maybe is this the one time where Ohtani's starting to feel the pressure a little bit as opposed to Vlad now? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be interesting. And he's going to hear it from the fans in Toronto. It's going to be a wild atmosphere. Good to see Eugene Levy behind the plate.
Geddy Lee too
as well. Getting it
Canadian
done.
icons, man.
Yeah, that's right. So it was hell of an atmosphere. Toronto's going to be rocking this next week, and let's hope that the Jays can find a way to get it done early and get a lot of runs against this incredible Dodgers team. Like it is one of the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball. So, anyways, we're here to do one thing. We're here to talk hockey. We're here to talk the Leafs. And I saw Nick Alberga's tweet this morning or yesterday morning about, Leafs Twitter. How worried are we about a 3-1 start to the season? And I said it last week on this show, and I'll say it again. I'm not going to sit here and discount how important every single game is, but it's early. It's early. Mm-hmm. They have the 7 points that they have. I'm not going to sit here and whine about it, but we're going to get into a few topics here, and we're going to talk a little bit about how there has been a mediocrity to this team thus far. The identity that we were searching for in the offseason hasn't shown up just yet, and really, I think there's a lot of players within the lineup from top to bottom that are questioning where they belong and what their role is on this team, and that's affecting the overall identity. So, in saying that, I want to get right to the first thing here. The Leafs lose to the Kraken earlier this week in overtime on a breakaway. Stolarz comes out after the game, clearly frustrated, had been knocked around, There was a lot of comments about the defenders just standing around not doing anything, and obviously Stolarz had to stand up for himself, and that was something that frustrated the Leafs goaltender. So, in saying that, what was your takeaway from his comments post game about the need to be a net front presence, quit making Cam Talbot look like this incredible goaltender when he's not seeing any traffic in front, and really calling out the team before Berube comes out and says, yeah, that's squashed. That it's okay to get frustrated, but we like to keep things in the room. Almost calling out his goaltender in the rebuttal.
Honestly, I don't care about the fact that to me, to try and keep it in the room, they've done that for too long and nothing has worked out. It's good to get that out in the open that shows that this guy has a Stanley Cup. He knows what it takes to win, and he's seen it firsthand. That what he's seeing right now is just absolutely unacceptable. It's abysmal. It's disappointing. And the fact that he called out, essentially he was calling out William Nylander on that effort. Like, let's be realistic. That was legitimate, a piss poor effort on the back check where he is with him. As soon as he loses like an edge or something like that, or one step, he just gives up. You cannot do that. Even if you're William Nylander, I get we talk about the offense. He has shown improvement defensively, but that was just absolutely unacceptable on his part. And as for the hit from number one, I'm just going to pose the notion that I absolutely hate it when defenders push opposing players into the goaltender. The first one, I'm not blaming Stolarz or anything like that. I'm more blaming Brandon Carlo, because what the hell are you doing, bud? Box him out, keep him to the outside. Do not push him directly into him, because that just fully impedes his ability to make it. And obviously that was going to be a goal because Carlo was the one that pushed Jaden Schwartz in. I absolutely hate that. But what I hate even more was the response after he got run over by Mason Marchment. Carlo was standing right there. Jake McCabe was around. Both players just stood, and it only had to take Anthony Stolarz to knock the net off and throw a couple punches Mason Marchment's way before Carlo and McCabe could react right away. How is a goalie supposed to feel confident with the team in front of him when they do not even come to his defense and he's the one standing up for himself? I made my thoughts very clear on a Sunday post about, the hit itself, and the team needs to have his back more. Because if you're looking at any other team in the league, namely the Florida Panthers, because if you touch Sergei Bobrovsky, you can rest assured that even the most timid person on that team is going after the guy that hit him. That is a team that has everybody's back, and they don't care who you are. They're going to rip your head off if you touch their goalie. Like, let's be realistic. The Maple Leafs do not have that mindset, which is something that, Matthew Knies has talked time and time again that they need to be more pissed off. They need to be more physical. Well, show that when a guy is absolutely bulldozing your goalie right now. And again, it's a really bad look when your two defenders or everyone else has to follow suit after the goalie does something, when you saw firsthand what happened right then and there. If I was Carlo in that instance, I'm the one shoving that net off, and I'm the one going after Mason Marchment right there. That to me just shows that they still lack that camaraderie. They don't have that chemistry anymore. That, again, I'm going to point to the Jays, and that with the main talking points right now, we could go back and forth between the Leafs and Jays right now. The Jays have each other's back right now. Brandon Little had one of the worst games of his career, and he's still getting support from his teammates. Again, not his fault entirely. That's a different story. But they have his back. They're at least supporting him. In that instance, what are the Maple Leafs doing? They were not supporting Stolarz at all, and it took them 3 to 5 seconds later to figure out and clue in. So to me, that hit itself just shows that this team still lacks, not necessarily respect, but they still don't have each other's back anymore. Even when Easton Cowan got thrown into the net against the Nashville Predators, I think it was Chris Tanev went and sent a message. Would have liked a little bit more of a response, but you could tell that everyone went to, I believe it was Ozzy Weisblatt. Mm-hmm. I believe it was him that they all went after him and they circled around him. Okay, would have liked a little bit more intensity to say that, hey, what are you doing? Don't touch our rookie kind of thing. That should have been the same response, or at least a little bit more. Do not touch our goalie, because if you touch our goalie, it's fair game and it's on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll start with the Stolarz comments. I was okay with it. I was I didn't mind it. I get the whole keeping it in the room idea that Berube is trying to push, but you've got a goaltender like you mentioned who's won a Stanley Cup, who's frustrated with the play in front of him, who's getting bumped around after getting knocked out of the playoffs last year when he was on one of his best runs because of a concussion when he was bumped in his net. And
that was another thing that I didn't mention too, but yeah, you already brought it up too about the whole Sam Bennett thing.
You've got no response. You've got zero response from the team. And obviously, like, Carlo came out and said, like, I was trying not to take a retaliatory penalty.
At that point, screw it.
Like, there's got to be the reason they're doing that is because there's no fear. There's no fear that the Leafs are going to respond. The guys on the ice are not responding to crashes of the net. They're not crashing the net themselves. That's where maybe you, instead of taking a retaliatory penalty, you grab the guy that's in the net and say, hey, you do that one more time to my goaltender and I'm going to be going straight for yours, or something like that. Police the game the same way that it's been policed in the past. The problem with the Leafs is that there is no response. There is no identity right now. They don't know what the heck is going on with their team. Max Domi, you've got floating on the first line. We'll get to that in a little bit. He's not playing well. Calle Jarnkrok was your top goal scorer 3 games into the season. You pull him out of the lineup, and you've been rotating Easton Cowan, who deserves an opportunity, a legitimate opportunity. Nick Robertson, who I get you're trying to showcase, but maybe not the time to do that. And a guy in Dakota Joshua who, you're paying him $3 million right now, but he ain't getting it done. He ain't getting it done. He's a -6 and has 1 assist in 7 games. This has been a piss poor experiment thus far. And I think that's the part that's so frustrating watching this team. Don't get me wrong. You've still got success stories this early in the season. William Nylander has 11 assists in 7 games. He's got 13 points. John Tavares, a guy who left money on the table to come back, has 4 goals, 9 points in 7 games. Matthews has 4 goals and at certain points has looked better than last year. Morgan Riley's having a bounce back year with 6 points already in 7 games. Your defense is getting scoring. There's good things coming to this team. The problem being is none of it's been put together at the same time.
Yeah.
And the part that frustrates me about Stolar's comment is you didn't stand by it. And after the New Jersey game, he came out and said, I think we looked great and we did a lot of good things and, it just didn't get it done. Well, no, that game was horrific.
It was worse than the Seattle Kraken game.
Yeah. I don't know if you need to go back and watch video afterwards, but it was horrific. And not only was it horrific, but the second Jack Hughes goal was one of the worst goals I've seen given up by Anthony Stolarz in a long time. How are you not watching your short side on that play? He's coming down on the wing. Like, those are the things, and it takes nothing away from Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is a phenomenal player, but if you're going to be the one that comes out and makes those comments, then you also have to back it up and be at your best when the team is not. And
I agree.
You, my friend, were not at your best. You looked horrific. You have a sub 900 save percentage through the first 5-6 games of the season. And, you make those comments to try and drive this team, but in the end, they're looking for a response from you and you didn't give it. So that's the part that I think frustrated me. After the Seattle game, I was all for it. I was like, you know what, call these guys out. Yeah. They're not getting the job done. Honestly, and I'm not trying to drive anybody out of the city, right? But Matthews in the game against New Jersey didn't even notice him.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice him. He looked like a guy that's, knows his name's being up in the air for trade talks and that he's expecting a trade any day. That's what he looked like. He looked like a guy that was, has handed it in, and whether if it's a health thing, then get out of the lineup. Let a guy like Easton Cowan come in and get the opportunity because you're not doing anything by being on that ice. I didn't see you once in that game.
think there was one instance in that second period towards the end of the power play where he had a good look and he's like trying to tuck it in after a nice move, but that was it. And I agree with what you said too about how Stolarz needed to back it up and he didn't. You're talking about like the team in front of him. How can you come out and say that I thought guys were, okay, they were coming back, they were helping out when they were the ones that allowed a 4-on-1 and Brandon Dillon to score a goal?
4-on-1.
When was I can't remember the last time I saw 4-on-1 and Brandon Dillon, who's, listen, great defender, great stay-at-home guy, but that's not the guy you want to shoot and allow a goal against too when he's barely scored goals in his entire career and dating back to last season as well. So for
but
you
even,
to come
even
out,
then, even then,
no, go.
That 4-on-1, like forget the 4-on-1 for a second. Where were the players coming back? They passed it 4 times on that 4-on-1. Brandon Carlo didn't stand a chance.
Yes.
Anthony Stolarz didn't stand a chance. Where were the other players for the Leafs?
I did see McCabe pinch up a little bit, and he did knock into his own teammate, but that's still inexcusable. That should not have happened. He should not have pinched up like that, because then it could still have at least been a 4-on-2, and you at least could have taken another passing lane way or option. And even on that Jack Hughes goal, as bad of a goal as it was for Anthony Stolarz to give up, this is the problem that I have with Max Domi on that top line, and we will get to it a little bit more. If you're supposed to be on that top line, you're supposed to be a playmaker, you're supposed to have the speed, you're supposed to have the skill, you're supposed to show it. He doesn't even, he basically turns the puck over at the blue line. And in that instance, what's your first instinct? Get it in deep, right? Don't play with it at the blue line when you have that so much traffic in front and you're handling the puck and you're trying to make these moves right there. Chip it off the boards, get around it, use that speed to your advantage. And instead, it's broken up, it's going the other way, and Jack Hughes gets a soft one by Anthony Stolarz. And I agree. I feel like he should have had that. But so many miscues, so many rush chances and odd man rushes against this whole season, not just in that Devils game, because this team alone last year was so good at that in terms of coming on the back check, not giving up those odd man rushes, defending the rush well, breaking up plays when they had a chance. It just seems like they're timid right now. And this is not the same. This is the same defense unit on paper, but it's not the same play style that we saw last year that probably could have pushed them forward into the third round and beyond had their defensive play been a little bit more steady. And overall, I just don't see how you could say one thing about how bad of a game that was where you're being left hung out to dry and then come out and say you had a good game when there was a 4-on-1, there were multiple odd man rushes, and you're standing on your head even at the beginning of the game itself. I don't understand where he's coming from that. I do agree that he should have some accountability himself right now, because why would you kind of walk back with what you said and there was no improvement from the team in front of you?
Yeah, no, I just don't. I agree with you that they're looking timid, but the part that kills me is that everyone's looking at this right now and saying, well, it'd be different if they had Marner. Marner was the different. This has nothing. This
Marner's
has
gone.
Nothing.
Marner's
this has
gone.
nothing to do with losing Marner.
That's not an
excuse.
excuse.
Nothing to do with Matthews has not looked good. Mm-hmm. The Michelli experiment thus far has not worked out.
He does look good on the second line, though.
He looks incredible on the second line,
yeah.
And that line's going to get buzzing. You watch, they looked great. They were the best line out of anybody.
That Devils game, yeah, absolutely.
Now, adding Scott Laughton in when he's healthy will be a bonus. Finding a move that gets rid of Nick Robertson needs to happen. The Dakota Joshua.
If you also get rid of Nick Robertson, at least try to bring back someone that's competent enough to fill out that middle six role.
Yeah, Dakota Joshua, just that experiment hasn't worked yet either. Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's a lot of good storylines to this team thus far, but a 500 team is not going to make the playoffs. A 500 team is not going to do any damage in the playoffs. So we were promised this new identity. and you've got Craig Berube coming out after the New Jersey game saying our first line basically had no chemistry, doesn't look good, and I've been super disappointed with them. Okay, so
Fix it.
then
You're the head
now
coach.
it's either you step in and step up and figure it out and get this team motivated to go. Like, you're talking about your star player. You're talking about your $13 million guy who's a 60, 70 goal scorer, and he was invisible against the New Jersey Devils. That's a team that you could very well play in the postseason.
And that's the point, too, where you got to pull him in and be like, listen, Austin, one, what's going on, but also Austin, too, just try to find a solution to this. I know you don't like the revolving door.
What are you seeing out there? Like, like that's the question. What are you seeing out there? You're the captain. What are you seeing out there? We put a letter on.
Give
you
me the
for
feedback.
A reason.
Yeah. And it kind of feels like that the communication between the two right now. I don't know what happens behind closed doors, but in any instance, I would expect to see a little bit of some conversation back and forth going on the bench between the two. Not even seeing any of that.
Nothing.
And that to me is a little bit of a cause for concern, not just for him, not just for Berube, but with this whole team overall in general. Like, I'm genuinely a little bit nervous right now because we don't know which team we're going to get.
There's a lot of conversation right now about throwing Nylander up to that first line. That's not the answer.
As good as you want, as much as you want to, yeah, it's going to work out on the top line. But what about now the second line?
Yeah,
you just lost your star winger to move up and have that, foolproof plan. But now you have the chemistry gone between JT and Willie.
Yeah, I don't even think that's the answer, though. I don't think Willie going up to the first line, like, what does it do for you? It doesn't make Austin Matthews skate any faster. It doesn't make Austin Matthews become any more motivated to be that dominant player. Like, when he scored 69 goals, he was a dominant player. You couldn't get the puck off him. He was getting shots from dangerous areas, and he was fast. He was skating. He was moving. He was seeing the ice on a different level. None of that so far this season. Not even an ounce of that this season.
And a lot of people will also say, too, that Mitch Marner probably helped him out a lot because of that playmaking factor and aspect. But I kind of tend to disagree with that a little because I understand Mitch Marner missed some time because of an injury. But when Mitch Marner was gone, Austin Matthews was the one elevating his play. He was the one taking control.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because there was a stat I saw a while back, and I'd have to scroll through and find it again, but it was something along the lines of last season, Mitch Marner's passes to Austin Matthews on Austin Matthews' goals were down 20%. So Mitch Marner wasn't the problem. Mitch Marner is not the problem.
And then again, Matthews did miss time last year too, so let's take that into account as well, but still.
Right, but that's meaning when he was on the ice scoring goals, Mitch Marner wasn't the one that fed it to him. 20% less of it was. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing right now, it's not there. And this team needs to figure out their identity quickly. They need to find the lines that work quickly, and they need to start putting some wins on the board. If you were starting the season 10-0 and then you want to experiment and figure things out, that's fine. But you're at 3-3-1, middle of the pack. You got an Ottawa Senators team that has no Brady Tkachuk, who's doing way better than expected.
Montreal Canadiens are playing well.
Montreal is the team to beat right now, in my opinion. And you have the Detroit Red Wings, who are, I think, playing better than anyone expected. So the Atlantic we talked about is even tougher than people imagine because Boston's there. Brazo's lighting it up for them. Florida and Tampa are still Florida and Tampa. Like right now, Toronto and Buffalo could be the bottom two in the Atlantic.
Don't want to jump to conclusions just yet, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't actually, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Not going to say anything until I actually see it happen because I'm trying to be optimistic. I don't want to be having this kind of negative attitude or negative mindset.
That's
7
what this
games into the
podcast
season.
is for. Bringing in the
Right.
negative perspective
You
and
know
trying
what?
to turn it around and eat crow the next week when we were wrong.
Okay. I am just going to say this as a hypothetical then to save my behind as well. Should the Maple Leafs miss the playoffs, they do not have a first round pick. And this is a draft class where even a mid to late first could have significant value to your prospect pool. I'm not saying that the Maple Leafs are going to be in on Gavin McKenna, but if we are, this is kind of like that Tyler Seguin, Taylor Hall situation where you gave up a first and I for Phil Kessel. I hope it doesn't come to that, or this is that kind of season, because again, on paper, this team is good. They just need to put it together, like you said, or like we have said early on, where they need to play that style that Craig Berube wants them to play. But I don't think they still have all the players that they have to play that.
Crash and bang.
Yeah. Then again, I would like to
the
see...
lineup's not a ton different than it was last year. Yeah. I think Pontus Holmberg was a big loss, but that big of a loss, like that doesn't make sense.
And you replaced Holmberg with Waugh and Joshua, guys that could play that middle bottom part role that can hit a little bit more. So I don't understand where this is going. I am just going to say one more thing about what the Maple Leafs can do to try and turn things around. Kind of like the Jays, I'm going back and forth between the two. If you know someone is struggling and there's a spot open, take advantage of it. Look what happened this year with Addison Barger. Look what happened this year with Ernie Clement. Look what happened this year with Nathan Lucas, like you mentioned. Even Miles Straw at times, too. There was an opportunity for them, and they took it. Who's going to take this opportunity on the right side along Austin Matthews to try and be the guy to say, hey, I at least want to push him in the right direction, but Austin needs to start taking charge himself right now. So a little bit of what ifs and the fact that everyone needs to play with that next man up mentality, because we're not seeing that from Austin just yet. I hope he could try and turn things around and take control like he did before, but it hasn't been there the last 2 games.
Well, after all that emotion, just a quick word from our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Hockey is back, and this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. I use this app, I collect my crowns, and you should too. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. And you can kind of hear me. It sounds like I ran a marathon recently. I told you prior to the show that had a little fall at home. Didn't even crack the ribs, but I got a nice bone bruise and muscle bruise going on right here. So I'm short on breath, but we always say this whenever one of us is sick, we always say it's our flu game. This might not be my flu game. This might be my I don't know, let's call it my George Springer game, where coming in injured and hitting it out of the park anyways. But
perfect comparison.
Yeah. Anyways, we do have one more thing we wanted to talk about regarding the Leafs. Obviously, the top line is one of the main question marks right now. You've got Matthew Nice, who's really off to a hot start. He's been one of the bright points in this entire lineup, right from the get go. He's going in there, he's crashing, he's banging, he's doing that power forward stuff. He's still getting some of the offense going. Austin Matthews, maybe he is heartbroken that Marner left, and maybe this is what pain and suffering and agony looks like when you lose your best friend. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it sure as hell is not Max Domi. And
No.
we saw in that game against New Jersey that love Max, but top line minutes with your star 60 goal scorer is not what he's earned. And I think you can agree with me when I say that maybe Max Domi sliding down into another spot is the answer. The problem being who fills that spot on the top line.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I can understand why they want to at least try this experiment at least once or a couple times, because Max Domi has shown to have good results with Austin Matthews in the past, regular season and postseason as well. We saw it in that series against the Boston Bruins. It was him, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Nylander was out, and you needed Domi on that top line, and he looked really well. Not so much this time around. And again, they want Domi to be that kind of player that could play with jam, kind of like Knies, have that speed and pace, push players back, and distribute the puck a little bit better. And when he has the shooting lane, take a shot, don't pass it up. What they expected Max Domi to do, Max Domi is not doing. And I get it's only one game. I guess they want to try it one more time. I don't know. It was an optional skate recently, which I don't think it should have happened when you had two, abysmal losses. I think everybody should be on that ice regardless. But yeah, Max Domi's did not do it for me that game. It was just one of those instances where you take out a rookie who, in Easton Cowan, I get you want to try and move him up and down the lineup. You want to see him watch a game here and there if he's not playing well. He did have a rough couple games beforehand, couple turnovers here and there, but he still wasn't all that bad. I still like the intensity that he brought. I still like the ability to pressure, hound pucks, get in on the forecheck. Max basically coughed up that goal leading to Jack Hughes's weak goal on Stolarz. But I'm just going to looking at Money Puck right now. In terms of expected goals for, again, small sample sizes around this time of year, but Knies, Matthews, and Cowan had a 66.7 expected goals for percentage based on the shots that they had. They've only, I think, connected on one goal total. They're getting their chances and their looks, and they're showing that. With Domi, 8.3% in, it says 3 games, but 10.4 minutes overall. That New Jersey game was basically the biggest sample. Not good enough, especially for Max Domi. In terms of shot attempts, the Matthews Cowan line, 54.3%. Decent. You're above league average. The Knies Domi Matthews line, 23.1%. And that's the lowest compared to other third and fourth lines on the Maple Leafs team right then and there. So take that with what you will in regards to how well Domi has fared already on that top line. Again, Berube may say, you know what? Let's try it one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll try to go with the, basically nuclear option of putting Nylander up with Matthews and just running that for the rest of the game. I don't know. I'm not the head coach. I don't know what's going through his mind right now, but it's probably not fun being Craig Berube right now where you have no other options. And again, maybe scratching Easton Cowan for Domi was not the best decision. You probably could have scratched Calle Yarncroc, who has gone cold. You probably could have scratched Robertson, who really hasn't quite moved the needle for his game lately. Cowan was at least getting results, whether he's still making mistakes here and there. But I think he's a kid that will clue in and be like, okay, I can't do that. He's a smart player. I think he knows what he's capable of. And he was playing his game that made both Matthews and Knies more impactful overall as well. I'm not saying he's going to be the catalyst or the difference maker, but he fit in well with them. They got results, and maybe the last game wasn't great for him, but it probably sure as hell would have been better than what they had with Domi against the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what the solution is, because right now with the identity that this lineup has or doesn't have, I don't have the answer, right?
Yeah.
If it were me, I wouldn't scratch Easton Cowan. You want to give him the best opportunity you can. This is the same issue they had with Nick Robertson, in the lineup, out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. If you're going to play him, play him.
Yeah.
Like, who's the future on this team of your Toronto Maple Leafs? Matthew Nyes and Easton Cowan. Mm-hmm. Why would you not try and build that chemistry from the get-go?
Absolutely.
You're not, to me, you don't touch that second line, because they're starting to form some identity with JT, Nylander, and Matthias Michelli. But that bottom six right now is missing something, and maybe when Lawton comes back, maybe that's where you slot in Easton Cowan with Lawton, Lorentz, and Cowan, like they did in the preseason, and maybe they find that groove again. You play them more than 6 minutes a game, but I don't have the answer. The one question I do want to raise, though, based on all of this, is right now Matthews, as we've mentioned, doesn't look like himself. He doesn't look injured, but he doesn't look like himself. He's not shooting. He's not getting the opportunities. He's not a standout force the way he's been in the past.
Yeah.
Nylander also hasn't been shooting. So my bigger question then is there more at play here? Like, is this more of a commentary on Craig Berube's style of play, or players' response to maybe how Craig Berube is systematically coaching? Or is this just, it's a one-off, it's been a couple weeks, let's figure out the identity, everything's going to be okay, Leafs Nation, calm down, relax, things are going to work itself out?
It's good you brought that up, because here's the thing. Berube's preaching crashing the net, getting pucks on net. You would probably expect a little bit more from Nylander to do that, because he has that shot. And I feel like he's not, again, I feel like he's not shooting the puck as much as he should. He has only 12 shots on goal through 7 games. And 2 goals to go for that matter. Again, he's got the assist, but those are Mitch Marner numbers.
A game. Not even 2 shots a game.
Yeah. Those are Mitch Marner numbers right there. Like, the not shooting as much, passing the puck a little bit more. Even on the power play, Nylander looks a little bit more hesitant when he should be shooting that puck more. Like, I just don't get why it's maybe with Marner gone, he's trying to act as the top playmaker of this team. But that is not Nylander. He is a dual threat. He has had 3 straight 40-goal seasons. And I believe right now he is on pace. I don't even want to see the number, because it's going to be probably way below that. I'm going to try and go to Elite Prospects, because they always have a reasonable projection. If it will load. On pace for 23 goals. I mean, again, his 129 assists, I don't think that's sustainable at all. But 23 goals is definitely not good enough for a guy that's earning $11 million right now. And let's face it, if he doesn't get at least 35, 40, what's going to happen now? Is he also going to be a, kind of scapegoat where he's not shooting the puck more and as he's supposed to? Not saying that Matthews is going to be a scapegoat, but he needs to start shooting that puck more, because that's what he's meant to do. And if both of those guys are passing up or not getting pucks on net and playing Berube style of getting pucks on net, because that's how you win games, getting those shots, getting the puck in behind the goaltender, they're not doing that. That is basically another cause for concern right there.
Mitch Marner has 14 shots in 7 games this year. So averaging more shots per game than William Nylander. Yeah. Nylander's a 40-goal scorer, 45-goal scorer.
Yeah, he needs to kind of get it into gear right now.
Yeah. Anyways, Leafs have lots of many games left.
Yeah.
There's lots of time to turn this around and figure things out. That said, I mean, cause for concern possibly, but right now, temper our worries. We're gonna see what happens, and we'll obviously talk about it on a weekly basis. If you haven't already and you're watching, you're tuning in right now, you're listening, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, get us up to that 250 mark. Let's get to 250 subscribers before the midway point of this season. I should note as well, with Austin Matthews, 2 goals in the preseason, he's got 4 so far this season. We're up to $9 donated to the Princess Margaret Hospital Cancer Research. So that's big as well. So that's why we want to see Matthews shoot more, score more, get more of that dough heading over to Princess Margaret Hospital. Outside of that, make sure, if you want to go to the World Series right now, you want to go to some games, make sure you check out SeatGeek as well. Use code STICKSIN6. That's STICKSINTHE 6IX for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. If you want to get tickets to that, or you want to get tickets to a Leaf game, or you want to get tickets to a game in your city, make sure you use our code STICKSIN6 at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. Outside of that, anything you want to throw in here, Pierre, before we close it out, my friend?
I'm just going to say this. Just keep a watch on this podcast because we may have some things lined up. I'm just going to leave it as that. I'm just going to tease the viewers a little bit right there.
Yeah, we're excited. We got some guests coming on soon, and it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be some familiar faces. So make sure you hit that subscribe button now. Check it out. Also, check out No Name Hockey. Check out DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code THPN at DraftKings for obviously some great deals as well there. And check out the Hockey Podcast Network, as always, to check out some of the greatest shows in the hockey world. Other than that, we'll be back after the Leafs play a couple games against Buffalo and Calgary. And then go Jays go. Go Leafs go. Until next week, my friend, we got a lot of playoff baseball going on. And we got some hockey to tune into this week.
Thought you were going to say playoff hockey there for a second.
No, not yet. Fingers crossed. But we'll close it out with our good friend, Alex Hobson, and his hit single, 25.